So, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, students. So, I am Daisy Ann A. Bullion. So, I am here in front of you to discuss all about the absence of divorce law and the high cost and complexity of annulment. So, the first we will talk about is the absence of divorce law. So, when you say the absence of divorce law, so the Philippines lacks of a legal provision for divorce resulting in significant problems and impacts for individuals and society. So, the absence of divorce law creates a legal barriers for couples seeking to end unhappy or abusive marriages. So, particularly impacting women's economic independence and access to justice. So, it also makes it difficult for individuals to move forward with their lives and potentially hinders societal progress. Divorce law is the Philippines does not have a divorce law. This causes many problems for couples who are unhappy um, or in abusive marriages cannot be legally separate. So dili sila makadali og kanang separate bisag pag kanang naka-feel na sila kanang abuse og kanang dili na sila wala na sila nalipay. Then this is especially hard for women. So lisod jud ni kayo para sa mga babae who may struggle to be free or support themselves. It also stop people from starting a new life and affects the progress of society. So the next is, let's talk about the problems and impact of the absence of divorce law. So the first is the lack of legal remedies. So when you say the lack of legal remedies is the absence of divorce means a couple and untenable marriages have limited of options for legally dissolving the union. Annulment and legal separation are available, but they are they are often costly, time consuming, and do not provide the same finality as a divorce. So kay tungod walay batas para sa divorce is ang mag-asawa nga um, ang mag-asawa nga wala na nagkasinabot or perminti na mag-away is walay klaro nga paagi aron magbuwag. Then nay annulment of legal separation, but they are expensive and take a long time and don't really end the marriage like divorce. So mao na siya ang lack of remedies. So the number 2 is the impact on women. So women who are often primary caretakers and bear the brunt of domestic violence are disproportionately affected by the lack of divorce. So they may be trapped in abusive relationships and unable to achieve economic independence or obtain proper child support. So ang kaning impact on women is kasagaran nga mga babayi ang pinakaapektado. So sila ang nagaatiman sa mga bata ug usahay biktima pa sa mga kanang panimaos bitaw og sa kasakit sa balay. Then kung walay divorce is lisod kayo sila makabiya sa kasal nya mahimong dili sila makabuhi, dili sila makalingkawas bitaw sa ilang kaugalingon, then og dili makakuha og suporta para sa ilang mga anak. So mo na siyang impact para sa women. So the number 3 is the impact on families. So the absence of divorce can negatively impact children. Parents in unhappy marriages may be more stressed and children experience the emotional fallout of this dysfunctional family environment. So when we say impact on families is kung walay divorce is magantos ang mga anak kung permi mag-away or dili magasinabot ang ilang mga ginikanan. So the next is number 4 is the stigma and social pressure. Is in the Philippines there is a strong social stigma against divorce, making it difficult for individuals to seek legal remedies for their marriage problems. So ang kaning stigma and social pressure is like the in the Philippines many people are afraid to talk about divorce because society is often sees it as bad. Mao na siyang kanang stigma and social pressure kanang mahadlok ang mga tao para sa divorce kay tungod lagi kanang kuan pagtuon nila is kanang dili maayo. When we say economic impact, is the lack of divorce can create economic hardship for individuals and families. So it can also impact the labor force and productivity, as stress from unhappy marriages can negatively affect work performance. So when we say economic impact is staying in an unhappy marriage can lead to financial problems and affect a person's work and income. So the next is the legal and procedural challenges. So the process of seeking annulment or legal separation can be complex, expensive, and lengthy. So kani is lisod, mahal ug dugay ang proseso sa annulment o legal separation sa Pilipinas. So samot na kanang kuan guro kanang wakay kwarta di bisag di na mo magkasinabot sa imong paris is kanang di jud ka makakuan og kanang divorce kay tungod sa mahal niya og sa kadugay sa proseso. This is the potential for increased violence and abuse. So the absence of a legal avenue for divorce can inadvertently increase the risk of domestic violence as individuals may feel trapped in harmful relationship. So kung walay divorce is ang uban kay mahimo na lang nga mapugos nga magpabilin sa ilang kanang mo stay sa ilang relasyon bisag kanang abusive bitaw is kay tungod kay wala bitaw sila lain nga mabuhat. Impact on public health. So unhappy marriages can lead to mental issues, substance abuse, and other health problems for individuals and their families. So ang impact on public health is ang dili malipayon nga kanang pagminyo bitaw is makahatag og depression, kabalaka og uban pang mga problema sa panglawas. Say the high cost and complexity of annulment is the high cost and complexity of annulment in the Philippines create a significant barrier to marriage dissolution, disproportionately impacting lower income individuals who are unable to afford the legal fees and time commitment required. So while annulment is primary legal avenue for dissolving a marriage, besides legal separation, its financial burden and lengthy process make it inaccessible to many, leaving them trapped in unhappy marriages. So high cost and complexity of annulment is getting an annulment in the Philippines is expensive. So mahal jud ang kanang annulment diri sa Pilipinas. Then it takes a long time para sa process bitaw niya. Then this makes it hard for people to end their marriage even if they are unhappy. So kanang samot sa mga public kay mahal tungod kay mahal siya, so maglisod jud og kanang file og annulment ang mag-asawa. So the headline: high cost of annulment trap Filipinos in unhappy marriages. So the first in the problem is the limited options. Annulment is the only legal way to dissolve a marriage in the Philippines outside of legal separation, which does not dissolve the marriage. So limited options. So in the Philippines, annulment is the only legal way to end a marriage. So legal separation doesn't end the marriage. So couples are still considered married by law. So the next is the high cost. So annulment proceedings are expensive, requiring substantial legal fees, court costs, and other expenses. So sa high cost is kanang lisod jud magkuha annulment is tungod kay mahalagi ang pagkanang kuan niya kanang samot sa kanang magkuha kag kanang abogado o kana nya rating mahala jud. So maglisod jud ang mga managtiayon nga mag-file og annulment. So the next is the time consuming. So the annulment process can take years, often causing further hardships and emotional distress for those seeking to end marriage. So time consuming. So para sa akong giingon kaniya is kanang dugay jud ang process sa kanang pag-file og annulment kay kanang daghan pa mangud siya mga proseso nga kanang dapat buhaton nya. Then kanang napasad mo kanang murag mahitabo siguro na nga kanang asa na kanang bitong napa may mahitaboan na nga kanang daghan pag ipapangutana sa inyo para jud kanang daghan pa mo papilis nga kanang panguanon tas kanang napay pangutana sa inyo para jud ma-process na jud ang para jud mapadung na jud mo sa pagkuan sa inyong annulment. So the next is the disproportionate impact. So these factors render annulment inaccessible to many Filipinos, particularly those from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, leaving them stuck in unhappy marriages. So disproportionate impact is tungod kay mahal ug dugay ang proseso is daghang daghan nga mga kanabitang naglisod nga Pilipino nga ang dili makapahimo og annulment. So napugos silang magpabilin sa dili malipayong kasal. So kanang ang mga lisod jud is maglisod jud sila og file og annulment kay tungod kay expensive man ang pag process ana. Last sa problem sa high cost is the prohibition of lack of alternatives is the prohibition of divorce further exacerbates this issue, leaving many individuals with few or no legal avenues to escape unhappy marriages. Lack of alternatives is tungod kay dili bitaw legal ang pagkuan og divorce is gamay ra bitaw ang mga kapilian sa pag-undang sa dili maayong kaminyuon. So gamay ra jud. So the next is the impacts. So let's proceed to the impact. So the first is trap in unhappy union. So the high cost and complexity of annulment mean that many individuals are unable to afford the legal process to end a marriage, leading to continued hardship and distress. Trap in unhappy unions is kanang mahal ra ba og lisod kuhaon ng annulment. So mao nga daghan ang dili makabiya sa ilang malipayong kaminyuon. So the next is the financial burden. So the substantial legal fees constrain household finances, potentially leading to additional financial difficulties. So ang kaning financial burden is kanang ang gasto sa annulment is makapadugang bitaw og kalisod sa kwarta sa pamilya kay tungod sa ka expensive niya. So mao nang kanang ang uban kay dili na lang sila mag-file og annulment bisag dili na bitaw sila malipayon sa ilang panag-iuban. So mao na siya ang financial burdens. So the next is the emotional distress. So the lengthy and complex annulment process can be emotionally taxing, causing significant stress and anxiety for those seeking to end their marriage. So ang emotional distress is dugay o kapoy ang proseso sa annulment. So it can cause a lot of stress and sadness sa mga kanang dili na malipay nga panaghiuban. So the last sa impact is the social inequality. So the fact that annulment is primarily accessible to wealthier Filipinos creates a social inequality where those who can afford it are able to escape unhappy unions while others are not. So ang kaning social inequality is kasagaran ra ba is kanang ang mga dato ra bitaw ang mga maka-process sa kanang maka-process o gusto jud sila annulment. Then mao nga kanang ang mga pobre is magpabilin bitaw sa ilang dili malipayon nga kanang pagminyo. So mao na siya. So that would be all. So thank you.